Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, I am Bima Rizkiawan Pohan with name A1B219014 from RZ01 English Educational Department 2019 from Jambi University. In this video, I would like to present how to use full expression for the discussions academic. Okay, from the first member, chairperson, there are first. The purpose of our discussion is let's discuss. If we talk about blah blah blah, it seems necessary to discuss blah 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 and decide which is the most and the least blah blah blah. Let me start with let's begin with let's discuss. First, first we need to who would like to begin? Can you explain your point a little more clearly? Can we see what other people think about that? Who hasn't had a chance to speak yet? Is there any last comment on this point before we move on the next one? So we have two opposing arguments here. On the one hand and other hand, in other words, most of us think that can we draw any conclusion from what we have been saying? Okay, that's from the chairperson in academic discussion, and next from everyone from member. Such the first is giving the opinion. I think that in my view or my opinion, as far as I can see or I concerned, surely the main reason for my opinion is, to my mind, in fact, to be to the best of my knowledge. The way I see it, if you ask me, I'm not sure if it is said or believed or known that it is obvious that it seems to me that I have the feeling that, well, I'd say you can take it from me that if you ask me, it seems to me that everyone knows. Let's get this clear first. The point I'm trying to make is I'm also absolutely convinced that the way I look at or see is this. Okay, and next, giving how to giving an explanation, right? Look, it's like this. The reason for this is, just let me explain. Well, the thing is, what I mean is, the main problem is, well, the reason is, above all, we must keep in mind that, okay, next, when we want to balance the arguments, there are first, on the one hand, and the other hand, some people say that, and other believe that it is said that, however, for the asking questions about the someone else's opinion or explanation, there are, could you tell me what's your opinion about? How do you feel about? What do you think about or of? Do you think or feel? May I ask you? Do you mean that? Do you agree? Do you share my opinion? Do you share my point of view? What do you mean when you say? What do you mean by that? Could you explain to me? Just tell me the reason why. I just don't see why or what or how. I didn't quite get that. Could someone please tell me? I don't really understand. Are you saying that? I beg your pardon. Okay, next for the agreeing and disagreeing for the argument, there are first, I quite agree. I couldn't agree with you more. That's true, alright. Exactly. Precisely or right or certainly and definitely. Definitely. I think so too. That's just my feeling or opinion. That's a very good or important point. Yes, of course, or definitely, or absolutely. That's exactly what I mean or I say. I agree because blah blah blah. I strongly agree with you. I couldn't agree with you. That seems very logical to me. I share your point of view. So do I, or so am I. I'm in a favor of what you've been saying. I can see your point, but that's a very good point. But yes, perhaps, but yes, but on the other hand, I agree up to a certain point, but maybe I suppose to. I don't think it's as simple as that. You may be right there. Yes, possibly, although, blah blah blah. Yes, up to a point. Yes, in a way. Well, it depends. I see what you mean, but I think that's not the whole story. Yes, but there's also another aspect to consider. I'm afraid I can't agree with because I disagree with you. I'm afraid. I'm not so certain or at all sure if that's true or correct. I'm sorry, I can't agree. I'm not convinced that, well, I have my doubts about that. You don't really mean that, do you? I don't think so. Okay, the last part is summing up. When we want to summarize, there are to sum up, blah blah blah, to conclude, blah blah blah, to summarize, blah blah blah, taking every time, taking everything into consideration, blah blah blah. I can suggest that following order, blah blah blah. Do you agree? I believe the most or important is blah blah blah, and the least this signification is blah blah blah. We have agreed on the following order, blah blah blah. We have decided that number one is blah, number two is blah blah blah, and number three is blah blah blah. Okay, thank you for the watching my video. That's all for me. And the last I say, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.